Good holy everyone, allow me to present to you my teaching demonstration about the science curriculum. So let's begin. Let us all stand. And who wants to lead a prayer? Okay, James, lead us a prayer. Amen. So, good morning, class. Okay, before you sit down in your chair, kindly pick some piece of paper. Okay, very good. So before we start our formal discussion, I would like to get your attendance first. So kindly raise your hand if there is absent for today. Okay, very good. No one is absent for today. So who can recall our last topic yesterday? Anyone? Okay, what was our last topic yesterday? Yes, Anna. Very good. It is about the climate change. So what lesson did you get from that topic? Okay, Maria. Okay, very good. Very good. So it is important to avoid climate change. Okay, Laila. Okay, very good. Now I will present to you of a picture and kindly observe kindly kindly observe the picture and also list down the things that is in this picture. So this is the picture. Okay, so what is in this picture? Anyone? Okay, Angela, how about you? Okay, thank you. There is a fish in this picture. Very good. Okay, very good. There is a water in this picture. Also, a rock in this picture. And a plant in this picture. Okay, very good. There is a non-living things and living things in this picture. So now, let's. I will give you the objectives. So who can read the objectives? Okay, James. Okay, very good. At the end of the lesson, the student must be able to appreciate the importance of an ecosystem to an organisms, differentiate the factors of ecosystem. So later on, we'll differentiate the factors of ecosystem, and also design a model of ecosystem and preserve it. So later on, you will design a model of an ecosystem and you will preserve it. So I would like you to watch this video, a 1 minute video, and kindly observe what is in this video.
Spiky, take a look at the pond.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Can you name any of the living things in it?
There is a water lily, a few other plants, a frog, a few fish. There are also birds here. Look at the duck. It seems to be enjoying the water. I can see some small insects as well.
Good. How about the non-living things?
Yes, there are a number of non-living things too, like water in the pond, the air, soil on the ground, stones, and of course, sunlight.
Are the living things interacting with the non-living things?
Yes, they are. Like the lily plant in this pond needs sunlight, water, carbon dioxide from air and other nutrients to make its food. Also, The fish need water to survive.
Good observation. In science, such a system is called an ecosystem. It consists of all living and non-living things in an area. Let's take a closer look to know more about the ecosystem. Ecosystem is a short form for ecological system. It comes from the word ecology. Ecology is the study of the interaction of living and non-living things. Living things in an ecosystem are called biotic components. For example, plants, animals, insects, microorganisms, and even human beings. Non-living things in an ecosystem are called abiotic components. For example, air, water, sunlight, nutrients, and temperature. So, a pond is an example of an ecosystem. We have observed that there are many different types of living things within an ecosystem, from microorganisms to insects and plants. These living things depend on non-living things, like water, sunlight, temperature, air, and nutrients for their survival.
Can you give me another example of an ecosystem?
Well, the ocean is also an example of an ecosystem. It consists of countless numbers of living organisms as well as non-living. An ecosystem can also be small, such as the area under a rock. Here you will find biotic components like microorganisms and insects, and abiotic components like soil, nutrients, and air. An ecosystem can also be as big as our Earth. Although different ecosystems may have similarities and differences from one another, they all contain biotic and abiotic components. We also have artificial ecosystems. For example, a park, a garden, a zoo, or even an aquarium. To summarize, an ecosystem consists of all living things and non-living things in a given area and their interactions. Living things in an ecosystem are called biotic components, while the non-living things of an ecosystem are called abiotic components. An ecosystem can be as small as a pond or as big as the Earth.
Okay, so what is in that video you watch? Okay, very good. There is an ecosystem in that video. So who can tell me what is an ecosystem? Okay, Laila. Very good. So an ecosystem is a geographic area where plants, animals, and other organisms, as well as weather and landscape, work together to form a bubble of life. It contains biotic and abiotic factors. Okay, so when we say an ecosystem, it is an area where some organisms survive. Like for example, in a sea. Yes, in a sea, right? And also in a forest. So there are lots of organisms that survive there because there is an ecosystem. It is a complete set of bubble of life. So there is a food in it. There is the temperature, the humidity is correct in it. So that's the ecosystem. So it needs an ecosystem in order for them or in order for the organisms to survive. So there are types of ecosystem. So we have the terrestrial ecosystem and also aquatic ecosystem, and also running water ecosystem and marine ecosystem. So when we say terrestrial ecosystem, so who can tell me what is terrestrial ecosystem? Okay, very good. So when we say terrestrial ecosystem, it is it has something to do with the land. Like for example, in the forest, right? So it has something to do with the land. And when we say aquatic ecosystem, and another types of ecosystem is the aquatic ecosystem, it has something to do with the water, right? So it has something to do with the water, like for example, in the sea, in the pond, in the river. So that is the example of aquatic ecosystem. So when we say running water ecosystem, it is a type of aquatic ecosystem where it has something to do with the fresh water. Like for example, a river. So there is no salt content in that river. So it is a purely fresh water. So that's the running water ecosystem. And also a marine ecosystem, it is a type of aquatic ecosystem. It has something to do with the salt water. Like for example, in the pond, there is fresh water and a salt content water. For example, 50% of the 50% of the fresh water and 50% of the salt water. So that's the marine ecosystem. So those are the types of marine ecosystem where some organisms can live or survive in that ecosystem. So let's go with the major components of ecosystem. We have the biotic components ecosystem, abiotic components and abiotic components. So when we say biotic components, it is also known as the living organisms of, or it is a living things in the components. Like for example, a plants. When we say biotic components, a plants, a fish, also and microorganisms in that ecosystem. So when we say abiotic components, so those are the things, or the things that is not alive, or those are those are non-living things in us and in the community. Like for example, a rock, a water, a temperature, a humidity, a sunlight. So that's the abiotic components. So next one is types of biotic components. We have the producer. There are three types of biotic components. We have producer, consumer, and decomposer. So when we say producer, okay, you can tell me what is producer? Okay, very good. So when we say producer, it can live on their own. Like for example, a plants. So they can live on their own. They can survive on their own. It's just need a sunlight, and also and also a water. Next one is the consumer. So when we say consumer, it needs another organisms to survive. It consumes another organisms to survive. Like for example, when we say a snake, it needs another organisms to survive in an ecosystem. Like for example, they need rats. It needs frog to eat. So that's the consumer. So when we say decomposer, those are microorganisms like bacteria and fungi that decompose the dead bodies of an organism. Like for example, they decompose the what we call this a dead body of a horse. So that's the decomposer. That's the three types of abiotic, or that's the three types of biotic factors. So another one is abiotic factors. So there are types of abiotic factors. Number one is physical components and also chemical components. When we say physical components, what does it mean? Anyone? Okay, Laila? Okay, very good. So when we say physical components, it has something to do with you can touch it or you can see it, diba, physically. Like for example, um, a rock, diba? A rock. So it needs a physical components of a rock in the ecosystem because that's where the organisms live. Like for example, a coral reef. So it is where the fish or living organisms live. So that's the physical components. That's an example of physical components. Also, a chemical components is it has something to do with the source of essential nutrients. Like for example, a sunlight, a water, diba? Like for example, a plants need a sunlight in order to survive in the ecosystem. So that's the chemical components of ecosystem. Okay, now, is there any questions with that? Okay, what are the three types of biotic factors? Anyone? Okay, very good. So it has a producer, consumer, and also a decomposer. So what are the two types of abiotic factors? Okay, how about the James? Very good. So when we say abiotic factors, it has a physical component factors and also a chemical components factors. So now I would like you to answer this question. How beneficial ecosystem to human society? Okay, anyone? Okay, very good. So it is a beneficial to the human society is an ecosystem because it is where our source of essential foods live in. So without the ecosystem, I don't think that this human society will survive in daily lives, because when we say an ecosystem where an organisms live, so it also a manifestation of what we call this a manifestation of a human lives. For example, a coral reef. So when without the coral reef, the fish are not in the sea. So they are we can see fishes in the sea. So how can we survive if without those food that we take in? So that's the important, or that's the benefits of an ecosystem. So now I would like you to group into three. So first row is group 1, second row is group 2, and third row is group 3. So I'd like you to discuss, or group 1 is I would like you to discuss your assigned topic. So group 1 is about ecosystem, group 2 is about biotic factors or biotic components, group 3 is abiotic factors. So kindly state what is the importance of those things. So I will call one representative to explain to us what their assigned topic. Okay, I will give you 5 minutes to to finish your explanation or presentation. Okay, so group 1, I would like to present Miss Laila, group 2 Miss Angela, and group 3 Mr. James. Okay, so group 1, kindly present your output, or kindly explain to us what is an ecosystem. Okay, very good. Okay, very good. So an ecosystem, so as what I have said a while ago, that an ecosystem, it is where geographically where an organisms live, right? So those are the place where some organisms can survive, because in that ecosystem is there is a food, there is a place where they can live in, so it has a balanced society in it. So that's the ecosystem. Very good. Group 2. Okay, Miss Angela, kindly explain to us what is the biotic factors. Okay, very good. So biotic factors, it also what? A living things. So those are the plants, the fish, the microorganisms in an ecosystem. So those are the living things organism. So group 3 is abiotic factors. So Mr. James, kindly present your output. Okay, very good. So abiotic factors, also known as non-living things. So those are, for example, a rocks, um, a water, a sunlight, the temperature, the humidity of of the place. So those are abiotic factors. So for our proper activity, so as a whole class, this is what we call show me and I will explain. I will give you so I have the ball, so can you get the ball? Okay, so kindly form a big circle. As a whole class, can you form a big circle? And also, um, can you sing Daddy's Finger? And I will present a picture, and the one that holds the ball will explain the picture. Okay? Gets? Okay, very good. So let's start. So let us sing. So Daddy's finger, where are you? Here I am, how do you do? So stop. Okay, okay, Miss Maria, can you explain this picture? Very good. So thank you for that. Another one. So let us sing. Mommy's finger, where are you? Here I am, how do you do? So stop. Okay, Miss Anna, can you explain this picture? Okay, very good. Yes, very good. So kindly sit down and go back to your proper seat. Now, the same with the group 1, group 2, and group 3. I would like you to observe an organism. So I will present. You will observe an ecosystem. So I will present the picture of ecosystem and prepare. So list down the what is in this picture as many as you can. So present your output in the class. So I will observe, or you will observe what is in this picture and list down as many as you can the biotic factors and abiotic factors. So list it and prepare for the follow-up question. So I will let you, I will give you 5 minutes to list down. Okay, time's up. So, group 1, kindly present your output. Okay, group 1. Okay. Okay, very good. So, my question is, what will happen if there is change in the population? So, what will happen in the ecosystem if there is a change in a population, in the population? Okay. Okay, very good. So what will happen if there is a changes in the population? Okay, very good. So group 2. Okay, group 2, kindly present your output. Yes. Okay. Okay, very good. Okay, very good. So the question is, if there are changes in the ecosystem, is there a possibility that it will destroy? Okay, very good. So if there is a change in the ecosystem, is there a possibility that it will destroy? Yes, there is. So as your classmate said that if there is a change, for example, in the temperature, like for example in temperature, if it's too cold or if it's too hot, so the ecosystem will be destroyed because there are some organisms that will not survive in that area or in that ecosystem. So very good, thank you for that. So group 3, kindly present your output or kindly present your presentation. Okay, very good. So my question is, how do you preserve ecosystem? Okay. Okay, very good. So as your classmate said that they preserve an ecosystem by doing the right thing to not destroy the environment and not put some or throwing some garbages anywhere, like for example in the sea. So when we throw garbages or not proper segregation of our waste, it will never preserve the ecosystem, or a lot of organisms will die in that ecosystem. Okay, very good. It will be okay, very polluted. Yes. So now, kindly take your seats, everyone. So class, kindly take your seats. Okay, very good. So now, as what have you learned for today's lesson? So how will you um do your part as a student in the ecosystem or in the environment? Okay, very good. So another one who wants to answer from the group 3? Okay, Mr. James. Okay, very good. So now I would like you to I would like you to the same with the group and group 1, group 2 and group 3. So I would like you to build an ecosystem in the bottle. So kindly take a bottle in at the back. Okay, class, kindly take get the bottle at the back. So one group each. So there are 3 bottles in at the back. Okay, you will I will give you 10 minutes or 15 minutes to build the ecosystem. So you can put soil in that, you can put plants in that, you can put water in that, and also you can put some organisms in that. So I will give you 15 minutes, go outside, or you know you can get anywhere you want, so you can get plants. So okay, I will let you finish your model. Okay, I will give you 15 minutes. Okay, I have the another instruction. If you don't know how to build an echo, you can use the link that I will be provided. So you can use that as your guide to create an ecosystem in the bottle. Okay, so there is a simulation in that bottle and that link, so you can use that. So later on you will preserve it as your output. Okay, time's up. So now go back to your proper seat, class. Okay, very good. So I would like you to get one whole sheet of paper and also a ball pen. I would like you to create a reflection and answer the question or the guide question in your reflection. So why is it important, or why is it important to preserve an ecosystem, and also how helpful an ecosystem to a certain organism. Okay, I will repeat the guide question. What is important to why is it important to preserve an ecosystem? Also, how helpful an ecosystem to a certain organisms. So I'll give you 15 minutes to finish your reflection. Okay, kindly pass your paper. Okay, very good. Finish or unfinished, kindly pass your paper. Okay, thank you. So, for your assignments to be passed on Monday, draw biotic or living organisms. You can draw living things or living organisms in an ecosystem